Rosen, Professor and Chair of the Economics Department. I'm joined here today by Professors Kelly Forrester, Brad Gibbs, Brian Knight, Sylvia Quo, Alex Potterack, Louis Putterman, and Rajiv Vora. Also joining are two fellows of the Brown Corporation, Joan Sorensen and Jeffrey Hines. Joan Sorensen, a class of 1972 Brown graduate, has had a long career in development, alumni relations, and higher education administration. She has been a fundraising consultant to numerous nonprofit organizations in Providence, Rhode Island, and Deer Isle, Maine. She has received numerous awards from Brown for her volunteerism and fundraising. She's one of few alumni to receive the Elwood Woody Leonard Award for Distinguished Achievement. In 2019, she received an honorary degree from Brown. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Jeffrey Hines, a class of 1983 Brown graduate and 1986 Warren Alpert Medical School graduate, is a proven leader with expertise in the field of diversity, health, equity, and inclusion. He successfully developed strategies and implemented programs with health systems, educational institutions, and nonprofit organizations locally and nationally to meet their diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. He began his career in the U.S. Army Medical Corps, where he received the Meritorious Service Medal and the Southwest Asia Service Medal with 2 Bronze Service Stars. He is a prior co-chair for the Brown Annual Fund. He received Brown's Leadership Award in 2003 and the Idelson Cup Award in 2022. Thank you, Jeffrey. One final special guest is the Dean of Financial Aid, Sean J. Ferns. We are very pleased these guests are joining us today to help us confer degrees on our graduates. To kick off our program, let me introduce our Director of Undergraduate Studies, Professor Brian Knight.
Thank you all. It's my distinct pleasure to join Professor Rosen in welcoming our graduates, their families, and friends to our department diploma event. Since we are all economists here, let me start out with some quantitative information. This year we have 453 students who are receiving undergraduate degrees in economics and at several joint concentrations. This is a record, and this means that approximately 1 out of every 4 of the seniors graduating from Brown today completed one of our department's concentrations, making economics one of the most popular concentrations at Brown. Economics is all about decision making, and we hope that all of you graduating with us today will look back on the choice you made to study economics as a choice well made. Some of our concentrators are attending the ceremony of other concentration or could not be in Providence today, but present at our ceremony today are 214 students who concentrated in economics, 43 in applied math economics, and 18 who concentrated in computer science economics. Completing your undergraduate degree in a field that challenged you to master many new tools and ways of thinking about the world is an accomplishment that all of you share, and I'd like to ask our parents, even before we call up our students individually, to please give a first round of applause to all of our graduates. Some of our graduates have additional distinctions that are noted on your programs, and we'll mention these as we call out you to receive your diploma. First, there's admission to Phi Beta Kappa, a General Academic Honor Society. Second, there's admission to Omicron Delta Epsilon, the International Economics Honor Society. Third, students meeting a high standard of excellence in their academic work across all courses taken at Brown are graduating magna cum laude. Finally, 73 of our students, of not whom all are present, are recognized for completing a senior capstone project in economics, which can take one of several forms, including serving as an undergraduate teaching assistant. Fifth, 17 of our concentrators with superior performance in their economics courses also completed a year of intensive research to write a senior thesis and are graduating with honors in economics or their respective concentrations. Among our honor students, I'd like to recognize the winners of the Gordon Lindsay Memorial Prize, and that is Justin Lee. And I'd also like to ask all of those who completed an honors thesis to please stand up for a special round of applause. Thank you. You students are the stars of the event and represent our future. So our featured speaker today is a representative of all of you, our graduates. It's my great pleasure to call upon our student speaker, Fatima Youssef.
Hello everyone, good afternoon, welcome. We did it, 4 years. Students, families, faculty, friends, and all my econ fellows who survived Professor Gibbs' corporate finance. We're here. I stand here today with a head full of economic theory, a heart full of gratitude, and some lingering trauma from the time America beat Pakistan in cricket. It's gonna take a while to get over it for me. We came to Brown in a pandemic, masked, muted, and miles apart, unsure of what college would even feel like. But since then, we've lived through it all. Wars breaking out, campus protests, momentous Supreme Court decisions, government overhauls, and the kind of inflation that made Ivy Room smoothies feel like luxury goods. Being an economic major through this, honestly a bit too much on the nose, don't you think? But through it all, we didn't just study economics, we lived it. We watched how a single trade policy decision in one country could ripple through markets all around the world. We questioned how governance, diplomacy, and even the credibility of institutions like the IMF and credit rating agencies are influenced by geopolitics. And we debated whether rational actors actually exist. In my opinion, they don't, especially not during the housing lottery. Brown's open curriculum gave us something most institutions don't. Freedom, the freedom to question, to connect dots across disciplines, to fail spectacularly and keep going. We mixed behavioral econ with Buddhist ethics, Python with post-colonialism, and in my case, coding with gender theory. We didn't just learn how to optimize decision-making, we learned how to understand people. And none of that growth would have been possible without the support of my parents, Sana and Yusuf. You never imposed a future on me, but always believed that I could build my own journey. To my siblings, Ibrahim and Hamna, my grandparents, my family that flew from Pakistan and all across the US, thank you for rooting me in love, culture, and resilience every step of the way. To my best friends, Mimi, Nadia, who couldn't be here but I wish she was, Yasmina, Raghav, Ghazala, Manal, Alina, and my favorite group chat called Tara's Humble Servants. You've been my loudest laughs, my softest landings, my sounding boards, and my safe space. I came in thinking I had something to prove. I leave knowing I just needed to be around you guys. Mimi, please don't cry. I can see you, please. Through the Brown Political Union, the Pakistani Students Association, Spring Festival crowds, and inter-Ivy conferences, I found my voice. I represented Brown at Yale and Dartmouth, restarted a student group that was dormant for over 10 years, and never went to bed at a decent hour. Thank you again, Mimi. I TA'd for Professor Putterman. It's an honor to TA your final class. And for Professor Deborah Hurley in a graduate seminar on cybersecurity ethics. Each of these moments wasn't just about achievement. They were about becoming something I never thought I could be. To my professors who pushed me to think harder and dream bigger, Professor Knight, my advisor, my compass, Professor Warshay, the best mentor I could have asked for, Professor Atwood, Professor Nelson, Professor Lancaster, who's left, Professor Putterman, and Professor Pingley. Thank you for teaching with both depth and humanity. And then there's Amartya Sen, whose writing gave me one of the most important frameworks I've encountered at Brown. His capability approach has challenged the way I thought about growth. It's not a matter of income or output, but it's a matter of freedom. The freedom to live a life you have reason to value. It helped me make sense of inequalities I had seen, the ones that aren't always captured in data tables, the unseen barriers, the erased choices, the futures that we never imagined. That idea has stayed with me, not just in essays, but in how I understand policy, power, and even my own path. Coming from a community in Pakistan where many girls are expected to marry young, where higher education is rarely prioritized for women, as my vice principal from home would say, this milestone means everything. It's more than a degree, it's a quiet revolution. It's leading to a ripple effect, and it's a reminder that this story, my story, shouldn't be an exception. But let me be honest, I lived in this perfectionism trap for the longest time. I saw my life as a checklist: GPA, internship, resume, repeat. I didn't pause to ask, is this for me or for the name? But Brown changed that. My friends, my professors, everybody I interacted with, thank you so much. Brown gave us all the space to fail, to question, to rebuild, to do things that weren't us until they became a part of us. And in doing so, we grew in 4 years that some people take decades to grow in. If we want to fix the madness of this world, we need to stop treating our brains like a machine. We're not meant for rote memorization. We are thinkers, feelers, creators. Though we may have the capacity for random access to memory, it is quite a poor way to educate ourselves, especially when we're graduating from one of the most creative institutes in the world. And this gives us so much reason to crush the genius before rote memorization leads to so much of crushing geniuses before they even have the chance to rise. But Brown doesn't do that. It lets us be messy, real, make as many mistakes as we want. So here's to the magic, the sunny days on the main green, having Dochi and Offset for spring weekend. Because we can get both. I don't know if there's any other school who can. And the biggest miracle, 14 years later, our batch has to be a lucky charm. We beat Harvard, guys. So here's to us, the class that entered in chaos but still found clarity. We leave more curious, more compassionate, and more ourselves than ever before. We made it. Congratulations, 2025.
Thank you, Fatima, for that wonderful address. As you know, every department is having its own ceremony right now, and each of the ceremonies tends to reflect the nature of the individual discipline. In the history department, they are no doubt putting today's event in greater perspective. In religious studies, they are emphasizing the ritualistic nature of commencement. In computer science, the ceremony is almost surely proceeding like a finely tuned algorithm. In modern culture and media, they are placing the ceremony in the context of a broader examination of modern cultural and social formations and stressing comparative analysis and theoretical reflection. I'm not entirely sure what that means. It was copied from their website. And here, in the Economics Department ceremony, we too will honor our own discipline. And we will do that by being efficient. None of you came here to listen to me. So without further ado, let's get on to the main event in which we will call students forward to receive their diplomas. Many of you know Professor Alex Potterack through his courses, advising, and his work as Vice Director of Undergraduate Studies. Please welcome him to the podium to begin the presentation of degrees.
Before we begin, I'd like to remind the graduating students, in order to honor your fellow graduates, once you receive your degree, please do return to your seat and remain seated for the duration of the ceremony. Receiving the degree of A.B. in Economics, Sebastian Augusto Adriano Heredia, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Swaraj Agarwal, honors Omicron Delta Epsilon. Amaya Simone Allen, magna cum laude, honors Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Renee Andom, Suryawan Ang, James Araneo, Ada Ajah Aurora, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Maher Sudhir Arora, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Luke Azar Tangui, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Skylar Alexander Bacon, George Bader, Jesse Lane Bakes, Michael Ronald Balian, TJ Banks, Sarah Sinclair Barrett, Tanner Berry, Julia Catherine Bedell, Ryan Behrens, Zahra Duru Bilgan, Tyler Devlin Blackburn. Wellington Douglas Christopher Bly. Brett Clark Bliss. Rebecca Grace Blumenthal. Magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Leighton Thaddeus Borcherding. John Gunnar Boring. Dora Barbarella Boss, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Kiara Bose Roy, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Sean Braga. Michael Bumpus. Anna Elizabeth Burton. Matthew Lamb Byfield. Lorena Calderon. Leah Elizabeth Caputo. Antara Chaudhary. Yu Lee Chung. Jessica Cherokee. Jonathan A. Citron. Magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Kappa Beta. Phi Beta Kappa. Tallulah Bell Clancy. Brendan Clark. Samuel Joseph Colton, Phi Beta Kappa. Noble Cooper. Alexander Cortez, Magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Greta Margaret Cricky. Ismail Fuad Dajani, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Lucila Deanda Castaneda, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Gianna Marie DePriest. Jordan Derek DeLucia. Brennan Demerit. Forrest Dimitri. Tejasrao Uday Dase, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Lauren Heather Diamond. Cortland Dix. Jada Ujunwa DK. Ksenia Dolgopolova, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Ted James Downing. Peter Roland Edelstein. Henry Egan, honors. Karen Shamaka Egu. Jack Elliott, honors. Lindell Tavius Errol. Antonio Mendes Esteves. Samuel Spencer Evans. Maria Laura Felsi Castillo, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Richard Brooks Ferguson. Seamus Patrick Ferns. William Finke. Ashley Sharika Ganesh, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Christopher Gall, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Paige Catherine Gillen. Hallelujah Garoon, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Elise Riley Gibbons, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Jacob Edward Goldberg. Abigail Gonzalez. Lyndon Gordon Grandberg. Alec Roy Green, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Kayla Grace Griebel. Hara. Augusta Rose Dillis Haynes. AJ Heidke. Elizabeth Hirschfeld, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Catherine Grace Hollow. Peyton Hollow. Mian Harris Hussein. Cecilia Grace Jacob. Arya Jaipuria. Will Jarvis. Maggie Lynn John, magna cum laude, honors, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Wan Yi Jing. Alessa Kahat. Mizuki Kai. Raghav Kalur, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Jacob Bruno Case. Kea Kilachin, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Alex Kim. Danielle Aline King. Calvin Kirk, honors. Sophia Berta Kramer. Hannah Landau. Elsa Ann Lehrer, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Kimberly Lown. Alyssa Levy. James Lee. Shinwei Lee.
She's going to graduate school!
Kino Mondrell Lilly. Homing Ling, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Cynthia Liu. Caitlin Lucas, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Anastasia Valedivna Lukasheva. Ivan Maxine. Timothy Michael Malo. Thomas William Manti. Jordan Elizabeth Marlowe. Sandra Martinez. Jacqueline Aaron Mason. Kevin Lee Massey Jr. Omicron Delta Epsilon. Henry James Mayer. Catherine Ann McCallum. Isolda McManus. Mira Mehta, magna cum laude, honors Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Matthias Meyer. Ticurius Munford. Benjamin Ross Mosley. Jackson Monroe, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Dashel Fenwick Sachs. Deanna Nazari, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Tyler Nevela. Charles Mingvu Win, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Michael Odzer. Emmanuel Ojeda. Sophia Gabriela Ordonez. Stockton Owen. Nana Owusu Ananye. Enya Jiayi Pan. Hannah Parginoni. Emma Eve Perlman. Styliani Adamantia Pipa. Omicron Delta Epsilon Phi Beta Kappa. Anna Claire Pedurgo. Omicron Delta Epsilon. Natsani Panwipat. Harrison Price Ho. Omicron Delta Epsilon. Sydney Helen Rathjen. Benjamin Resco. Sulai Restrepo. Eloise Indigo Robertson. Kevin Tyler Rowe. Andrew Rose. Ryan Rossi. Keegan Rothrock. Ross Rutherford. Sharbik Saha. Blake Saito. Mimi Sawney. Lara Ann Schechter. Wyatt Schlott. Carly Suzanne Schlosser. Caroline L. Schmitz. Omicron Delta Epsilon. Aaron Cito. Anna Sheldon. Angelia Shi. Magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Kritika Srivastava. Joshua Daniel Silverman, magna cum laude, honors, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Shorya Singh, Oluwashiji Oluwaseun Sholakan. Dave Song. Zachariah Spooner. Avinesh Neela Srinivasan. Meghna Srinivasan, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Kyla Hata Sung, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Cameron Alexandra Suntha, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Samuel Tomas Sacconi. Myla Tanye, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Julia Taylor. William Thayer. Bo Michael Vanderlaan, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Ekaterina Vanarina, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Ellie Vasiliou. Victoria Vishalva. Oliver Villanueva. Nadia Vaudelin. Man Hay Christopher Y. Noah Wakefield. Keegan Michael Walpole. Yichi Wong, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Samuel Whitney, magna cum laude. Jack Whitten. Nathaniel Masi Winoto, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Rajesh Zambar. Tiffany May Zhang, Omicron Delta Upsilon. Receiving the degree in AB in Applied Math Economics, Elisa Fiorella Azcúnaga. Jillian Grace Valkunis. Nathan Brasher. Emma Donnelly. Rebecca Eliana Fish. Samantha G. Nicole Lugo. Morgan Louie. Kazema Maz. Miha Temra. Receiving the degree of SCB in Applied Math Economics, Joseph Raymond Al-Hasso. Antonio Francesco Androzio. Oliver Scott Beeling. Nicholas Clark. Catherine Anna Clerkin, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Megan Laura Cornacchia. Ella Pouchnick Edmonds, honor. Tyler Foreman. Aryan Joshi, honors, Omicron Delta Epsilon. James Kieran Horkin. Henry Yu Hin Lee, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Tony Liam. Suhang Liu. Grant Lumcom. Benjamin Moshes, magna cum laude, honors, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Miles Mullins. Ian Nachman, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Sydney Atsemio Nutaker. J. Raj Philbrick, magna cum laude, honors, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Connor Pryor, Omicron Delta Epsilon. John Henry Rhodes. Jonathan Shore, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Drew Adam Schwartzman, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Dylan Mark Sisko, magna cum laude, honors, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Alicia Huitzen Shen, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Rohan Singh, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Camille Tang, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Abhinav Tripathi, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Callahan Walsh. Jasper Wong. Justin Lewis Weiss, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon, Phi Beta Kappa. Jacob Tien Ming Young. Receiving the degree of AV in Computer Science Economics, Jeffrey Kai, magna cum laude, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Naomi Chang. Ryan Fung. Khan Kalinch, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Peter Madoff. Leo Shack. Harrison Trahan. Samuel Walhout, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. receiving the degree of SCB in Computer Science Economics, Miriam Awalu, Omicron Delta Upsilon. Brian P.J. Chong. Prasoon Karel. Finian John Leahy. Hilton Scott Peterson. Martin Clemens Poland. Ashley Jane Schaefer. Kyle Son, Omicron Delta Epsilon. Nahom Samurai. Post-May graduates, Alexander Adams. Kyle Chen. Manav Davis. John Oliver Doty. Thomas Coppinger Gaffey. Suhaila Hashemi. Helen Haranjic. Jeh Kapoor. Celine Ma. Samuel James McMonigal. Henry Peter Niehaus. Rana Kazizada. Harrison Sprofera. Masoma Rezaiyi. Gavin Joseph Kerner Schilling, Honors Omicron Delta Upsilon. Layla Amani Shell. Oliver Worth. Fatima Yusuf. Savannah Lee Young. Eugenia Zenoviva. All right, let's have a round of applause for all our wonderful graduates. It has been a long day, and we appreciate your patience. We invite you to join us now for refreshments. On behalf of Brown University, congratulations.